Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining today. We have the head coach of the Under-20 men's national team, Marko Mitrovic, to discuss the roster for the 2025 FIFA U20 World Cup. As always, if you'd like to get in a queue to ask a question, you can do so by virtually raising your hand. We're going to begin with opening comments from Marko, and then we'll take your questions.
Hi, good morning, good afternoon, first to everyone, and thank you for joining this Zoom media conference. I want to say that as we announced the roster today, I'm really happy with the team that we are going to have in Chile, and I'm also very grateful for collaboration with the clubs that release the players and their understanding of how important it is for those young guys to play for their country and represent on such a high stage as the World Cup is, but also what it means for their future development in their careers. Yeah, we're looking forward to go to the World Cup with knowing that this group is built to give it best for the crest and jersey.
Thank you, Marko. Again, if you'd like to ask a question, please do so by virtually raising your hand, and we'll begin with Brian Sharetta.
Thank you, Marko. Congratulations. It seems like you put together a roster that gave you just about everyone you wanted. You talked a little bit about releases in your opening statement. Could you discuss like how it was in terms of getting these players together and how it was in the strategy you had for negotiating releases? Because some of these players are starters for teams in the playoff pushes, like Xavier and Brooklyn. And then you got Benha, who just made a move. Discuss like how you're able to secure those releases, and is everyone going to be able to be available for the entire tournament? Is there anyone late arrivals or anyone has to leave early? Thank you.
Yeah. So basically, when we build the strategy around when we want to start the camp and our first day of the training sessions, we knew that taking players for another game, which comes this weekend, would be a challenge for us, and that's why when we learned that our first game is on 29th, we're like, okay, if we start our camp on 22nd, we have more chances to get the players. So that was like, I would say, initial process, like what would put us in the best situation to get the players. Then the second thing was obviously last several months, we were talking to the clubs, presenting our schedule, presenting agenda, and talking in general the big picture about what is the World Cup and what means this for the players playing for the country, but also what that means playing on a high stage and how the club can benefit from that as well. And as I said, I'm very grateful that majority of the clubs understand this situation and even thought that they are in every club has their own story, and every club is fighting something this weekend, or weekend after that, or weekend after that. But prioritizing World Cup in this moment, yes, was amazing understanding from the clubs, and as I said, I'm very grateful for that. Also, I would say that commitment from the players was on, because players wanted to go to the World Cup, and obviously when your club and you speak with your player and you see massive commitment from the player that he wants to go and represent the country, it helps the process as well. And I'm also grateful for the guys and the commitment that they have to go there and play for the country.
Next will be Seth Bertelny from Pro Soccer Wire.
Thanks, Michael, and thanks, Marko, for the time. I wanted to ask about Noki Banks. Was he a player that you tried to get released, or has he been kind of viewed to have graduated up to the senior team at this point? And, Brian mentioned that you were able to get a number of players who are key players for their club teams in this roster. Were there any players that you tried to get that you were unable to get released? Thanks.
So Noki was this September window with our senior team, and Noki is someone who is we all see as a high potential. We wanted to get Noki to the World Cup. Noki is one of the players that hasn't been released, and we had a really great collaboration with MNT staff and the process going to the World Cup. And I'm very, very thankful for collaboration, not just communication, but collaboration that I had with the coaching staff. Unfortunately, Noki is not with us in the World Cup, but I would really stay focused on the players that are going there. So if we can talk about them, because that's our best team, and those guys going to go there and play for the country.
Next will be Charlie Bone from MLSsoccer.com.
Hi, Marco. Thanks for your time today. Something that's been a topic with Mauricio, with the senior team, that I wanted to ask you about as well, to get your perspective on it, because the roster construction maybe is a little comparable. There's always been maybe an ebb and flow of MLS players and domestic-based players and national team rosters versus those that are in Europe and top leagues abroad. And there's been a little bit more maybe domestic players on the senior squad. So I just wonder how you see kind of the balance, the different characteristics of players from who are abroad maybe versus domestic. And I'm sure that releases and maybe the relationships with the clubs are a factor in this as well. But how do you see that, kind of how the talent is distributed?
Yeah, I think when we consider roster here, obviously what you said, we have 18 field players plus 3 goalkeepers, and then there is always that thinking how we can cover all the positions in case of need, because you don't have luxury as a senior team with more players on the roster. But we always go like, what are the best players and the highest potentials that we have, and if they coming from MLS or they are coming from Europe, it's really not priority. Priority is who are the best players and highest potentials for us. That's something. And also we have, this is January 1, 2005 and younger, but again, if player is 2005 or 2006 or 2007, when you're not looking at the passport and date of birth, it's again, who are those guys that in this moment we are confident that we are making the right decision and bringing the best possible roster to the World Cup.
Next will be Adam Bells.
Hey, Marco. Did you see, first two-part question, did you see Xavier Gozo's bicycle kick goal last night, and what did you think of it? And then two, do you see him as a number 9?
Yeah, I saw Gozo's. That's a great goal, and we texted each other after the game, and I love when they score those like highlight goals. But we spoke Gozo in the World Cup, score 5 simple goals, and if you score 1 great like that, it's good. But goal is a goal, you know. So it's obviously those goals are more highlighted goals, and then people see and talk more about them. But for the team, when you score the goal, goal is a goal, same value. And something that Gozo can play in all 3 positions higher on the field, left, right, or forward. And then in certain games in his club environment, they use him as a forward. So that also helps when we have limited squad, that based on the game and strategy, we can use Gozo on in any of those 3 positions.
Next would be Alex Calabrese.
Hey Marco, good to see you. So the midfield is a very strong group you have here. Obviously, some very talented players weren't able to be a part of it as well. I'm curious how the process was in selecting this group of 6 and the different profiles you have, and was it difficult to leave some talented players out like Sergio Orahel?
Yeah, listen, it's always difficult to leave the players out, and we were just based on the, like I said, the potential in this moment, and what they can bring to the group, and having the right balance, and that was what led us to make this decision. And there are also players that are not on the roster. The first thing what I did, I spoke with all of them, because I know not going into the major tournaments and something that all those players are dreaming of, like this week or month ago when we were close to our decisions. Yeah, but that's decision that we made, and we believe that was the best choice in this moment for our midfield line.
Thank you.
We will go back to Brian Sciaretta.
Thank you, Michael. Marco, have you chosen a captain for the team? If so, why? And if not, what are you looking for from a captain for this group? I guess a second question though is also with Nico Sakaris and Josh Widener. This is their second time through with the second U20 World Cup. What are you expecting from them in this tournament by way of experience and leadership, and discuss what those two players bring, you know, having been through this before?
Yeah, we have captain for the team. You know, we have a leadership, or I would say like team representatives group. You will see in the first game who's going to be our captain. But also, we speak about Josh and Nico particularly. They played last Under-20s World Cup. We have Benja Kremaski, who played the Olympic Games last summer. But we have a lot of guys that play U17s World Cup. Good part of this group played the CONCACAF. So every player has a certain experience of playing the tournaments. And listen, is it CONCACAF? It's a World Cup? Is it Olympics? There are similarities. Because I mean, it's very simple. You have group stage and then elimination after that, and just approach to those games. Yeah, and everybody brings some experience to our group. Obviously, Josh and Nico being in Under-20s World Cup, this is the only two players. But I'm confident that every player has certain experience that will bring to this group.
We also have another question from Charlie Bone.
Marko, also, you have multiple players from San Diego FC, and having looked at what they've done, they seem to have a real reliance on youth and a focus on U.S. youth national teamers. I just wonder if you could speak on that project and how it's helping those players get so many first team minutes.
Yeah, I mean, San Diego has their process and the way that they operate as an organization. But for us, what matters is that you know, whatever we do with youth national teams, you know, with US soccer, if players don't make the steps with the senior team in their environment, in club environment, somehow it doesn't matter, because it has to be connected, you know, in order to bring those players one day to the senior team. And I'm just happy to see that those players are getting minutes and that they're on the right path in their development.
Thank you.
The next question comes from Jonathan Tannenwald.
Hi, Marko. Jonathan Tannenwald of the Philadelphia Inquirer here. Question probably won't surprise you at all. It's about Frankie Westfield. What have you seen from his development? Because he was not as heralded, you know, coming up as some of these other players. He's a relative newcomer to the program. What did you seen from him coming up through the union's ranks, and what earned him this opportunity?
Something that I would say like this: the selection process doesn't stop when somebody gets invite for U15. You know, selection process is always present, and something that we notice with Frankie is really making great steps and progress with Philly, and then we just spoke about getting the playing time with the first team. I think that Frankie actually used his time with the first team on a very good way for himself and his development. He's making huge steps forward. First, establishing himself with a regular player with Philly and playing almost every game and having significant minutes on the field, but also using his time and opportunity with us. And Frankie completely earned his spot on this roster.
We have another question from Adam Bells.
A bit of a broader question. You've been around this business for a while. What are the one or two key factors that allow a U20 player to make that progression to the senior team? Like, what is it? What is it that brings that success?
Yeah, you know, I would say this: the main thing is they have to play, and they have to find a place where they can play. That's something that you know, to cross that bridge from youth to senior, the only way you can cross is by playing time. And that's something I always say to the players: like, you have to find the best, the highest level that you can play. You know, sometimes you have those talented players that got promoted to the senior team very young, and then they don't play for a year, for two. You know, you're around good players, you're around the senior guys, but you don't play, and just stops development. That's for me like the most important thing. It's playing time when you get to that age.
Okay, thanks.
Those are all the questions we have for today. Thank you to Marko and to all of you for joining. Again, the team will begin gathering on Monday, September 22nd. Please keep an eye out in the future for upcoming media availabilities for Marko and the team as they begin their quest at the U20 FIFA World Cup in Chile. Thanks again for joining, and have a good afternoon.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate that.
Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you.